Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support me. In the cold vacuum of space, silence was absolute, yet it carried the weight of a looming storm. From the observation deck of the Hyperion, Earth's most advanced spacecraft, Dr. Elara Bennett stared into the vast, unyielding blackness of the void. Even with all her knowledge of xenobiology, the void unsettled her, an endless abyss that swallowed light and hope alike. Yet, somewhere in that void lay the source of the greatest threat humanity had ever faced. Her hand tightened around the railing as she contemplated the mission ahead. The reports had been fragmented at first: unexplained energy surges, missing spacecraft, and finally, the first encounter with an alien species unlike anything humanity had imagined. The aliens had emerged from the void, their ships sleek and otherworldly, their technology surpassing anything on Earth. But it wasn't just their technology that had sent shockwaves through humanity, it was the biological weapons they unleashed, creatures that seemed to defy the laws of nature, melding metal with flesh in ways that were both horrific and awe-inspiring. The invasion had been swift and brutal, targeting Earth's major cities with precision. The response from the world's governments was immediate. An emergency coalition was formed, and within days, the brightest minds and most skilled operatives were gathered to form an elite team tasked with stopping the invasion at its source. They were to venture into the void, locate the alien mothership, and destroy it before it could unleash further devastation. Elara turned away from the window as the door to the observation deck slid open. Colonel Jack Reynolds stepped inside, his expression as steely as ever. A decorated military strategist, Reynolds was the embodiment of discipline and experience. He had seen more battles than any other officer aboard the Hyperion, and his presence alone was enough to instill confidence in the team. Dr. Bennett, Reynolds greeted, his voice low and gravelly, a result of years spent shouting commands over the din of battle. "Colonel," Elara replied with a nod. "Any updates?" "We've just received intel from command. The forward base we're targeting is confirmed to be a key node in the alien supply chain. It's heavily fortified, but if we can take it out, it should give us the upper hand." Elara nodded, though her mind was already racing through the possibilities. The alien biology was unlike anything she had studied before, complex, adaptive, and seemingly engineered to thrive in the most hostile environments. She knew that understanding it would be crucial to their success, but there was so much they still didn't know. As if sensing her thoughts, Reynolds added, "We'll need your expertise once we're on the ground, Doctor. The intel we have is limited, and we'll be relying on you to identify any weaknesses we can exploit." "I'll do what I can," Elara replied, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "But we're venturing into the unknown. There's no telling what we'll find." Reynolds gave her a reassuring look, one that spoke of his confidence in her abilities. "That's why you're here, Doctor. You're the best there is. We'll handle the tactical side, but we need you to make sure we're fighting a battle we can win." Elara offered a small, determined smile. "I won't let you down." "Good," Reynolds said, turning to leave. "We'll be briefing the rest of the team in an hour. I suggest you get some rest while you can." As the door slid shut behind him, Elara remained by the window, her thoughts a whirlwind of fear and anticipation. This was no ordinary mission, this was humanity's last stand against an enemy they barely understood. She could only hope that their ingenuity and determination would be enough to tip the scales in their favor. The team assembled in the briefing room an hour later, the atmosphere tense with unspoken fears and expectations. The room was dimly lit, the walls adorned with holographic displays showing tactical maps, alien schematics, and mission objectives. At the center of the room stood a large circular table, around which the team gathered. Colonel Reynolds stood at the head of the table, his presence commanding the room's attention. Beside him was Sophia Kane, the team's void navigation expert. Sophia was a tall, athletic woman with a sharp gaze and an air of confidence that bordered on arrogance. She had earned her place on the team through years of daring exploration, charting uncharted regions of space where few dared to venture. Her knowledge of the void was unparalleled, and she would be their guide through the treacherous journey ahead. Lieutenant Kai Tanaka was next to arrive, his demeanor calm and collected. A cybernetic engineer with a deep understanding of advanced technology and AI, Kai had a reputation for being a problem solver. His modifications to the Hyperion systems had already proven invaluable, and his role would be critical once they encountered the alien technology. As the last team member, Elara, took her seat, Reynolds began the briefing. "We're about to enter hostile territory," he said, his voice steady and authoritative. "Our mission is to locate and destroy the alien forward base. It's our best shot at disrupting their supply chain and buying us the time we need to find the mothership." The holographic display flickered, revealing a three-dimensional model of the alien base. It was a sprawling structure, bristling with defensive turrets and surrounded by a swarm of alien drones. "Our approach will be through a blind spot we've identified in their defense grid," Reynolds continued. "Sophia will navigate us through the void, and once we're in range, Kai will hack into their systems to disable their defenses. Elara, you'll be responsible for analyzing any biological threats we encounter and finding a way to neutralize them." Elara nodded, her mind already working through potential scenarios. The alien biology was still a mystery, but she had theories, hypotheses she would have to test under the most extreme conditions. "We'll strike fast and hard," Reynolds concluded. "This is our chance to turn the tide. We can't afford to fail." The team members exchanged determined looks, their resolve solidifying. They were about to embark on the most dangerous mission of their lives, but they were united in their purpose. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders. As the Hyperion left the safety of known space and entered the void, the sense of foreboding deepened. The void was an unforgiving place, a region of space where the laws of physics seemed to break down. Time and space warped, light bent in impossible ways, and the very fabric of reality seemed to twist and shift. Sophia Kane was at the helm, her hands steady on the controls as she guided the ship through the darkness. The Hyperion sensors were on high alert, scanning for any signs of danger, but the void was eerily silent, offering no clues as to what lay ahead. "Stay sharp," Reynolds' voice crackled over the comms. "We're in enemy territory now." The team was on edge, every shadow and flicker of light a potential threat. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the soft hum of the ship's engines and the occasional beep of the sensors. But the real danger was unseen, lurking in the darkness just beyond their reach. Elara sat in the med bay, reviewing the data they had on the alien biology. The creatures they had encountered so far were unlike anything she had ever seen, biomechanical hybrids with a terrifying level of adaptability. They seemed to be able to integrate any technology they encountered, evolving at an alarming rate. It was this ability that made them so dangerous, and it was up to her to find a way to stop them. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden alert. "We've got something," Sophia's voice came over the comms, tense with urgency. Elara quickly made her way to the bridge, where the team was already gathered around the main console. The holographic display showed a massive structure looming in the darkness, a forward base, exactly as the intel had described. "That's it," Reynolds said, his eyes narrowing. "Prepare for infiltration." The Hyperion approached the base cautiously, keeping to the shadows as much as possible. The alien defenses were formidable, with swarms of drones patrolling the perimeter and automated turrets scanning for intruders. Kai Tanaka was already at work, his fingers flying over the controls as he hacked into the base's systems. "I'm in," he said after a tense moment. "Disabling their defense grid now." The base's turrets powered down, and the drone swarms scattered in confusion. "We're clear," Kai confirmed. "Move in," Reynolds ordered. "Sophia, take us in close." "Ilara, Kai, get ready to board." The Hyperion docked with the base, and the team suited up, their gear designed for both combat and survival in the harsh environment of the void. They moved with practiced efficiency, checking each other's equipment and weapons before entering the airlock. The door hissed open, and they stepped into the alien structure. The interior was dark and ominous, with walls made of a strange, organic material that pulsed with a faint, eerie glow. The air was thick with a foul odor, a mix of metal and decay. Ilara's heart pounded as they moved deeper into the base. Her senses were on high alert, every sound and movement amplified in the oppressive silence. They encountered no resistance at first, the corridors eerily empty, but they all knew it was only a matter of time. They reached a large chamber that appeared to be the base's control center. The room was filled with strange, alien machinery, and at its center was a massive structure that seemed to be some sort of central hub, pulsating with energy. "That's it," Kai said, his voice tinged with awe. "That's their command center. If we take it out, it should cripple the entire base." "Let's do it," Reynolds said, his voice calm and steady. As Kai began to set the charges, the walls of the chamber suddenly came alive. Alien creatures emerged from hidden alcoves, their bodies a grotesque blend of metal and flesh, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. "Contact!" Sophia shouted, raising her weapon. The team sprang into action, their training kicking in as they engaged the enemy. The aliens moved with terrifying speed, their bodies contorting in ways that defied logic. Ilara fired her weapon, her shots finding their mark, but the creatures kept coming, their wounds healing almost instantly. "They're regenerating." Ilara shouted, her voice filled with alarm. "I'm working on it," Kai called back, frantically adjusting the settings on his device. "Just keep them off me." Ilara scanned the room, her mind racing. The aliens were regenerating too quickly, there had to be something keeping them alive. Her eyes locked onto the central hub, and she realized what it was. The hub wasn't just a control center, it was also feeding energy to the creatures, keeping them alive. "We need to take out the hub," she shouted. "It's feeding them energy." Reynolds nodded, understanding immediately. "Cover Kai. We need those charges set now." The team redoubled their efforts, fighting off the relentless onslaught of aliens as Kai worked to plant the charges. The creatures were relentless, their numbers seemingly endless, but the team held their ground, their determination unwavering. Finally, with a shout of triumph, Kai finished setting the charges. "It's done. Get clear." The team sprinted towards the exit, the aliens in hot pursuit. The walls of the base shook as the charges detonated, the explosion tearing through the structure. The central hub erupted in a burst of energy, and the aliens faltered, their bodies convulsing as the life drained from them. The team barely made it back to the Hyperion as the base began to collapse. They watched from the safety of the ship as the alien structure imploded, the void swallowing it whole. "We did it," Ilara breathed, her body trembling with adrenaline and relief, but the victory was short-lived. The Hyperion sensors detected a massive energy spike. Another alien ship was closing in on their position. "It's the mothership," Reynolds said grimly. "It's here." The team had no time to rest. The mothership was a behemoth, dwarfing the Hyperion in size. Its exterior was a twisted amalgamation of metal and organic matter, pulsating with a sickly light. The ship was alive, a hive mind controlling the alien forces with ruthless efficiency, Sophia Kane pushed the Hyperion's engines to their limits as they raced towards the mothership. They had one chance to stop the invasion, and they were going to take it. As they approached the mothership, the void around them seemed to warp, reality twisting in unnatural ways. The ship was surrounded by a swarm of alien fighters, each one more deadly than the last. "Prepare for battle," Reynolds ordered. "This is it." The Hyperion's weapon systems roared to life, unleashing a barrage of firepower on the alien fighters. The team worked in unison, their movements precise and coordinated. Sophia maneuvered the ship with expert skill, dodging incoming fire while Kai and Alara manned the weapons, but the mothership was relentless, its fighters swarming the Hyperion from all sides. The ship shook under the assault, alarms blaring as damage reports flooded in. "We're not going to last much longer," Kai warned, his voice tight with tension. "We don't need to," Reynolds replied. "We just need to get close enough to deliver the final blow." Alara's mind raced as she analyzed the mothership's structure. The ship was a living organism, its core pulsating with energy. If they could hit that core, they might be able to destroy the entire ship. "There," she said, pointing to a weak spot in the ship's hull. "If we can breach that, we can hit the core." Sophia nodded, her expression determined. "Hold on tight." The Hyperion dove towards the mothership, its weapons focused on the weak spot. The alien fighters closed in, their attacks growing more desperate as they realized what the team was trying to do. The ship shook violently as it took hit after hit, but the team held on, their resolve unshakable. The weak spot in the mothership's hull grew closer and closer, until finally, with a deafening roar, the Hyperion's weapons breached the hull. "Now!" Reynolds shouted. The Hyperion fired its last remaining missile, aimed directly at the mothership's core. The missile streaked through the breach and struck the core, detonating with a blinding flash of light. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. The void was silent, the alien fighters frozen in place as the mothership's core began to implode. Then, with a sound that reverberated through the entire void, the mothership erupted in a massive explosion, its energy dissipating into nothingness. The alien fighters disintegrated, their connection to the hive mind severed. The void was once again silent, but this time it was the silence of victory. The Hyperion limped away from the wreckage, its systems battered but still functional. The team was exhausted, their bodies and minds pushed to the limit, but they had done it. They had saved humanity. As they made their way back to Earth, the team sat in silence, each of them lost in their own thoughts. The mission had cost them dearly, and they knew that the void would always hold dangers that humanity was not yet prepared to face, but for now, they had bought humanity time. Time to regroup, to rebuild, and to prepare for whatever might come next. Alara stared out at the void, her thoughts a mix of relief and dread. The void was an endless mystery, a place where the unknown reigned supreme. But it was also a place of infinite possibilities, where humanity's greatest strengths, its creativity, its resilience, and its determination, could shine the brightest. The team had faced the void and emerged victorious, but the story of humanity's struggle was far from over. The void still called to them, a reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. And as the Hyperion sailed through the stars, Alara knew that humanity would rise to meet those challenges. No matter what the void had in store, the mission was over, but the hunt was just beginning.